Ladies and gentlemen, traders, investors, and seekers of mastery, let me start with a truth my mentor drilled into me on my very first day of serious trading. He said, "The market is not your enemy. It is a mirror. It shows you your fear, your greed, your patience, your discipline. And if you cannot conquer yourself, you will never conquer the market." That single line changed the way I approach trading forever. Today, I am going to share the secret method my mentor passed down to me, the powerful blend of psychology and price action, the very method that allowed me to step away from gambling-like habits and into the realm of consistency. And I promise you this, if you internalize these lessons, you won't just change the way you trade, you'll change the way you think. The very first thing my mentor taught me was about charts. Wasn't about candlesticks, wasn't about any so-called secret indicator. It was about myself. He sat me down and said, "Before you master the market, you must master your mind." At first, I didn't understand. I thought trading was all about strategies, entries, exits, and risk-reward ratios. But as the months passed, I began to realize that no strategy, no matter how powerful, could save me from myself if my emotions were out of control. Think about it. How many times have you exited a winning trade too early because fear whispered, "What if it reverses?" Or held on to a losing trade because greed said, "It will turn around, just wait." How many times have you doubled down on losses, hoping to make it back? These are not market problems. They are psychological problems. My mentor explained, trading is not a battle with the market. The market doesn't even know you exist. It's a battle within yourself. Every trade you take exposes your inner world. Fear, ego, impatience, doubt, overconfidence. The beginner thinks the enemy is outside. The brokers, the market makers, the news. The professional knows the enemy is inside. He made me keep a journal, not of trades, but of emotions. Each day I would write down how I felt before entering a trade, what thoughts arose during the trade, how I felt after closing it. Do you know what I discovered? Patterns. Fear was always strongest when I traded too big. Greed whispered loudest after a streak of wins. Impatience showed up every time I stared at the chart for hours. It became clear, if I could understand my emotions, I could understand my mistakes before they even happened. One of the greatest psychological skills in trading is detachment. Detachment means you stop seeing the market through the lens of your hopes and fears and start seeing it as it truly is. Most traders enter a position and immediately hope, please go up, please go down. Their vision is clouded. They can't see the truth anymore. My mentor taught me to enter trades without attachment to outcome. A trade is either valid or invalid. A win is not proof of my brilliance. A loss is not proof of my stupidity. They are just data points in a larger game. Detachment frees you from emotional turbulence. It allows you to follow your plan instead of your impulses. If fear and greed are fire, ego is gasoline. Ego makes you chase the market after missing a move. Ego refuses to accept a small loss and turns it into a large one. Ego convinces you that you are smarter than the market. My mentor used to say, the moment you think you have conquered the market, that's the moment the market will humble you. I saw this in my own journey. After a few profitable months, I thought I had cracked the code. I increased my risk, ignored my rules, and within weeks, I lost more than I had made. That painful lesson humbled me. Ego was my downfall. So, how do you actually master your mind? Here are the practices my mentor drilled into me. 1. Risk small enough to stay calm. If a single trade can destroy your account, you will never trade with a calm mind. Risk an amount that feels almost boring. Calmness is a competitive advantage. 2. Predefine everything. Entry, stop, loss, target. Write them down before you click buy or sell. If you leave decisions for in the moment, emotions will hijack you. 3. Create rituals. Treat trading like a discipline, not a casino. Review charts at fixed times. Journal your trades. Reflect on mistakes. Build a rhythm that supports focus. 4. Separate identity from outcome. A losing trade does not make you a loser. A winning trade does not make you a genius. Detach your self-worth from short-term results. 5. Daily mental check. Before you open your platform, ask, am I calm? Am I clear? Or am I chasing revenge, excitement, or validation? If your mind is not stable, you are already defeated, because psychology is a foundation upon which every strategy rests. You can hand the best system in the world to two traders, one disciplined, one reckless. The disciplined one will thrive, the reckless one will fail. My mentor said, "The market does not reward intelligence. It rewards discipline." And here's the truth. Mastering your mind is not a one-time achievement. It is a lifelong practice. Every new level of trading brings new psychological challenges. Small accounts test your patience. Big accounts test your humility. Success tests your discipline. Failure tests your resilience. Trading psychology is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming emotionally aware. It's about knowing that fear and greed will always whisper, but you have trained yourself not to obey them. So the first step, the foundation of everything, is mastering your mind before you master the market. But once you begin to tame your emotions, the question arises, what should you actually focus on in the charts? My mentor's answer was clear. Forget the noise, forget the endless indicators. There's only one truth in trading the price itself. And that takes us to the second secret he passed down, price action as the only truth. When my mentor told me that price action is the only truth, I didn't understand it at first. I was fascinated by indicators, oscillators, moving averages, Fibonacci levels, you name it. I thought the secret to profitable trading was hidden in some formula or technical tool. But he would shake his head and remind me, all of that comes after price. Price is the raw language of the market. Learn to read it, and you will no longer need to depend on anyone else's interpretation. The biggest trap for traders is complexity. New traders download endless indicators, chasing the illusion of certainty. They pile one tool on top of another, thinking, if 3 indicators say buy, then it must be safe. But the market punishes this mindset. Why? Because indicators lag. They react to price. They do not predict it. By the time all your indicators line up, the best part of the move is already gone. My mentor used to say, indicators are like shadows. They follow price. Why would you chase the shadow when you can study the man himself? This was a profound shift in my understanding. He wasn't telling me to ignore tools completely, but to stop worshiping them. Price is the foundation. All else is secondary. One day, during a lesson, he pointed at a simple candlestick chart and said, "These candles are not numbers. They are emotions. Each one tells you a story about what the crowd is feeling. Fear, greed, hope, panic. Think about it. A long wick at the top, that's greed being punished as sellers stepped in. A strong bullish engulfing candle, that's confidence surging. A doji at resistance, that's hesitation and uncertainty in the crowd." Suddenly, trading wasn't about guessing anymore. It was about listening. Listening to the collective psychology of thousands of traders expressed in the price. This is why price action is so powerful. It is not just technical, it is psychological. Every pattern is a reflection of human behavior, repeated endlessly in different forms. My mentor would often compare the market to a battlefield. He said, support and resistance are the front lines where the war is fought. Watch them carefully, and you'll know where strength and weakness lie. Support is where buyers historically step in. Resistance is where sellers step in. These zones are not magical. They are memory. They are the footprints of fear and greed. When price approaches these levels, emotions run high. Some traders panic. Some grow overconfident. That's why price often reacts strongly there. Understanding this gave me clarity. Instead of chasing random moves, I could focus on key levels where real psychology played out. One of the hardest lessons for me was patience. I wanted action all the time. But my mentor warned me, the market has its own rhythm. If you force it, you lose. If you wait for its song, you win. Price action teaches rhythm. The market expands and contracts, trends and consolidates, surges and rests, like breathing in and out. Once you learn to recognize this rhythm, trading becomes less stressful. You stop chasing every tick and instead wait for the song you know how to dance to. Another dangerous trap in trading is the obsession with prediction. Traders desperately want to know, where will the market go next? They search for forecasts, predictions, gurus. But my mentor laughed at this. The goal is not prediction, he said. The goal is preparation. Price action shifts your focus. Instead of predicting, you prepare. You know the key levels. You know the patterns. You know the psychology. When price reveals its hand, you act with discipline. This is a radical change in mindset. Prediction feeds ego. Preparation feeds discipline. Here are some of the simple but powerful rules my mentor drilled into me. 1. Trade levels, not noise. Identify clear support and resistance. Ignore the chaos in between. 2. Follow the trend until it ends. Don't fight momentum. Price action shows you when a crowd is in control. Ride it. 3. Look for traps. False breakouts, stop hunts, liquidity grabs. These are moments when weak hands are shaken out and strong hands step in. Learn to recognize them. 4. Confirmation over prediction. Wait for the candle to close. Don't assume a breakout before it happens. Let price confirm its intention. 5. Volume plus price equals truth. Volume validates moves. A breakout without volume is often a lie. These are not complicated rules. They are simple, but mastery lies in execution, not in theory. When I started to trust price action, my confidence grew. Before, I always felt blind. I leaned on indicators and signals from others. But when I trained my eyes to read price, it felt like I had put on glasses for the first time. The blur was gone. Price action doesn't give certainty, but it gives clarity. And clarity is enough to make rational decisions. More importantly, it gave me independence. I no longer needed to ask, what does this indicator say? I could look at a chart, read the story, and make my own decisions. That independence is power. Here's the deeper truth my mentor wanted me to understand. Studying price action is not just about the market. It is about studying yourself. Because every time you analyze a chart, your emotions will try to color your interpretation. A fearful trader will see bearishness everywhere. A greedy trader will see bullishness everywhere. But a disciplined trader will see what is actually there. Learning price action is, therefore, a spiritual practice in honesty. It forces you to separate reality from your wishes. The charts are not magic. They are mirrors. They reflect the emotions of the crowd, and they reflect your own. Learn to read them without illusion, without ego, without fear. That is why my mentor said, price action is the only truth. Because in a world full of noise, opinions, and predictions, the price itself is the final judge. Trust it, and it will guide you. So now we understand, first, you must master your mind. Second, you must learn to trust the truth of price action. But knowledge alone is not enough. The real secret my mentor passed down was a method, a way of trading that combined psychology and price into a system that actually wins. And that is what we'll uncover in the final keynote. The secret method, patience, discipline, and simplicity. When most traders hear the phrase secret method, their imagination runs wild. They think of a hidden indicator, a rare algorithm, or a system guarded by hedge funds. That's what I thought too when my mentor first promised to share a secret. But when he revealed it, I was almost disappointed. It wasn't some magic formula. It wasn't a high-tech tool. It was simply this: patience, discipline, simplicity. At first, I thought, that's it? That's the big secret? But over the years, I realized it was not only the secret. It was the only thing that actually worked. The first pillar was patience. My mentor said, trading is 90% waiting and 10% execution. Most traders fail not because they don't know what to do, but because they can't wait for the right moment. They crave action. They want constant stimulation. They click buy and sell just to feel alive. But the market does not reward impatience. The market rewards those who can sit quietly while others lose control. Patience means waiting for your level, your setup, your high probability moment. My mentor compared it to hunting. A hunter does not fire at every sound in the forest. He waits. He stays still. Hours, sometimes days, until the right target comes into view. Only then does he act. He told me, one great trade a week is better than 10 mediocre trades a day. One arrow, one shot, one kill. I began to understand that my job was not to be constantly active, but to be selectively precise. That shift saved me from overtrading and saved my account. The second pillar was discipline. Patience finds a setup, discipline executes it. This was the hardest part for me. How many times had I planned a trade perfectly, only to change my mind in the heat of the moment? How many times did I move my stop loss because I hoped the market would turn? How many times did I take profits too early because fear whispered, "Don't lose what you have"? Discipline means sticking to your rules no matter how your emotions scream. It means taking a trade when your plan tells you to, even if you feel nervous. It means cutting the trade when your stop is hit, even if you feel hopeful. My mentor had a simple mantra: plan the trade the plan, nothing more. To build discipline, he made me follow rituals. I had to write my trade plan before entering. I had to journal every outcome. I had to review mistakes weekly. At first, it felt rigid, even boring. But slowly, I realized this was a structure that set me free. Discipline gave me consistency. It turned trading from gambling into a process. The third pillar was simplicity. The beginner wants complexity. He wants 10 screens, 20 indicators, complicated theories. It makes him feel smart. But in reality, complexity kills clarity. My mentor taught me, the simpler the method, the easier it is to trust. And the easier it is to trust, the easier it is to follow with discipline. His method was astonishingly simple. Identify support and resistance. Wait for price action confirmation. Enter with small risk. Let the trade play out. That was it. No magic, no secret formulas. Just price and patience. At first, I didn't believe it. I thought trading had to be more advanced. But the more I tried to complicate things, the more I lost. When I returned to simplicity, I began to win. Simplicity cuts through noise. It removes confusion. It forces you to focus on what matters: psychology, price, execution. When I put all three pillars together, I finally saw the secret method clearly. Patience finds the right opportunity. Discipline executes without hesitation. Simplicity keeps the system clear and consistent. That was his entire system. And the shocking truth? It worked. It worked not because it was magical, but because it was sustainable. Anyone can follow a complex system for a few weeks. But in the long run, complexity breaks. Simplicity lasts. Here's why this method actually works where others fail. It aligns with human psychology. Most systems fight against human nature. They require perfection, endless monitoring, or emotional suppression. This method acknowledges human weakness and builds around it. It creates consistency. By repeating the same simple process with patience and discipline, you eliminate randomness. Your edge emerges over time. It protects capital. Patience avoids bad trades. Discipline cuts losses early. Simplicity keeps risk manageable. Capital preserved equals opportunity preserved. It reduces stress. When you no longer chase trades or obsess over indicators, trading becomes calmer. Calmness is clarity, and clarity is power. The more I practice this method, the more I realize it wasn't just about trading. It was about life. Patience taught me to wait for the right opportunities in life instead of rushing. Discipline taught me to stick to my principles even when tempted. Simplicity taught me to focus on what matters instead of drowning in noise. My mentor once said, "Trading is not just a way to make money. It is a way to refine the self." Now I truly understand. So, if you came here expecting a holy grail indicator, I have to disappoint you. But if you came here searching for the truth, the kind that actually lasts, then you now have it. Master yourself. Trust price. Trade with patience, discipline, and simplicity. That is the secret method my mentor gave me. And if you practice it, truly practice it, it won't just change your trading. It will change your life.